Dear student, today I'm talking about the optical source in which main source are LED and laser are used. So these optical source are utilized to modulate the incoming pseudo-random sequence information into the optical form in order to send over the communication lines. So exclusively today I'm talking about a light emitting diode. As light emitting diode and laser, these are the sources which are available, and these sources basically desired that it has a high radiance, fast response time, and high efficiency that is required. And LED source as well as laser source are coherent and incoherent source are available. So basically the fundamental which you use for LED I'm going to explain about in detail in this lecture. Basically in these slides I'm going to review about the basic semiconductor physics theory. Then there is a LED operational principle, structure, material, the type of LED, advantage and disadvantage of the LED. A lot of factors which are depend in order to give high efficiency and high radiance of LED. So about the basic consideration of optical source, the physical dimension is such that it is perfectly suited to the optical fiber. Mean that the pattern which is emitted from the LED, if it is narrow enough, it is easily to launch into the optical fiber. So narrow radiation bandwidth or radiation pattern is required in order to directly transmitted over the fiber. Linearity is also definitely required, that output light power is proportional to the injection or driving current as we are applying the driving current, and at the instant it will give the output, and a fast response time is required. Mean to say that the emission of output of LED, as we have to apply the current for whole, there is a got the output without any type of problem, and the power available is enormous amount of power which is available. These are the some consideration from the optical source which is designed. Semiconductor light source, basically a PN junction diode, in which a PN junction having a direct band gap material. The category we saw from the periodic table, the category of direct band gap material is third and fifth category of semiconductor material is used, and which is act as a active material when there is a injection current is applied on this. There is a recombination in the recombination zone. Recombination takes place, and PN junction must be a forward bias in order to emit a free electron and hole either radiatively or non-radiatively. The radiative and non-radiative, that is decided the efficiency of the LED. In laser diode, there is a further process to achieve high radiance, high coherence, and narrow linewidth that is basically desired in the laser. Now, if we see the basic semiconductor physics theory, as an energy diagram, if we have to take the semiconductor material, say for we consider the silicon which is located in the fourth column of the periodic table, and a silicon has a 4 electron in the outer shell, and which also require a 4 another electron in order to forming a covalent bond. So the property of forming this transition of electron from conduction band to valence band uh, and valence band to conduction band, that is represent in the form of energy gap. So that amount of energy is basically required in order to transition the electron from the ground to excited state or excited to ground state. So energy diagram that is showing the excitation of an electron from valence band and resultant free electron and free hole under the movement of this external field E, and another this diagram that is represent the equal electron and equal hole concentration in the intrinsic semiconductor. So and conduction property we can see at in case of pure crystal, the conduction band have a equal number of uh, hole and equal number of electron that is required desired. As there is a rise in the temperature of this silica material, then there is a some electron are thermally excited across the band gap, and silicon excitation energy must be greater than 1.1 electron volt in order to make the transition of electron, and this will uh, if electron that is transition, this will leave some hole behind this valence band while there is a transition that has to be takes place. Now the concentration of electron and hole is known as the intrinsic carrier concentration, that is equal to N or equal to P or Ni, which we generally represent. Now the conduction can be uh, increased by adding a impurity from this group 5 element. Group 5 element are phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. When we add this impurity, the process is called the doping. So by doping, these elements have a 5 electron in the outer shell, and 4 are basically used to forming a covalent bond, and there is a fifth one which is loosely bound electron available in the conduction band. So basically there is a donor level that is formed in this case, and this donor level is just below the conduction band, and impurity which is added is called the donor impurity, because they give extra electron to the conduction band. So donor level in n-type is just forming this is the donor level, and this cause the electron concentration distribution is a increase in the conduction band, and number of electron in this state are increases, whereas in the valence band the whole concentration distribution are decreases, which are shown from these electron energy diagram. Further, there is a p-type semiconductor. Now in p-type semiconductor, the conduction can also be increased by adding group 3 element which have a 3 electron in the outer shell. In this case, 3 electron forming a covalent bond, and there is a one hole which is required in order to forming a bound, so there is a requirement of one extra electron. So in this case, uh, so this gives rise to a condition unoccupied level just above the valence band, and this conduction can occur when electrons are excited from the valence band and then forming a conduction. So a scepter level just above the this valence band. So in this case, if we see the electrons concentration, there is a deficiency of this electron concentration. However, the hole concentration, there is a present, and the hole concentration is excessive number of hole in this state, and there is a acceptance of one of the electron required at here. So free hole concentration increases in the valence band, that is basically represents. So this type of material is basically the p-type material, and acceptor level just above the uh, in p-type material, and ionization of acceptor created by increase the hole concentrations. So electron, whenever we are joining a PN material combinedly, then there is a diffusion of majority carriers. Electron and hole, they are diffused from to p electron from the p side, they may diffuse, and hole from the p may, they may diffuse to the opposite direction, and fill the hole in the p level, as well as the fill the electron in the n level. So majority of the carrier, they are diffuse. So in this case, once there is a crossing of all these electron and hole, and there is a barrier that has to be developed when there is a further flow of electron and hole is not possible. So there is a some potential that has to be developed, in which further electron and hole, they are not cross from p type to n type, or n type to p type. So this is called the barrier potential, and barrier potential which is developed or in the case of when there is a diffusion of electron hole that has to be takes place, and that barrier potential Emax, we can represent it also as a depletion region. This depletion region is also called the space charge region, and this will basically lock the flow of any further electron and hole which can crossing the junctions. Now once there is a PN junction is formed, then it is reverse bias. Upon reverse bias, electron, they are moving toward the positive side of the battery, whereas the hole, they are moving toward the negative side of the battery. So by this way, there is an increase in the barrier potential and binding of this depletion region and space charge region. Minority carrier, they are basically flowing in this move across this junction, and a minority carrier flows small at normal temperature, but it can be significantly excess for in illuminating photodiode. Now in the another case, if we forward the device, N is connected to the negative of the battery, P is connected to the positive of the battery. In that case, the electron, they are crossing, further crossing the barrier, and hole also crossing, try to cross the barrier. There is a certain amount of barrier potential that is equal to the amount of this external battery. So in this case, there is a flow of basically majority carrier, and in this case, the depletion region is become narrow as compared to the previous one. Now next we'll discuss about the direct and indirect band gap material. Now in this case, electron transition to takes place from conduction band to or from the conduction band, either absorption or emission of the photon. So let's say for the case here, here is we have a represent above is the conduction band and bottom is the valence band. Here is a large number of electron, here is large number of photon, and we assume that this momentum of the system is conserved at here. Now here, whenever electron transition from the excited state to the ground state, so there is a liberation of a photon with energy h w or h nu. So this energy is equal to the band gap energy Ag, and in this system there is a just liberation of photon. Now if on the reverse process, if we apply this amount of energy, the electron can be jumped from the ground state to excited state. Both thing is also possible in the case of direct band gap materials. So in this case, momentum of the system is now another category is the indirect band gap material, in which this conduction shows two band. This is the least band energy, and this is just a higher band of energy. Whereas in the case of valence band, holes are to be present. Now here, in order to transition electron from the conduction band to valence band, is only and only possible with the external amount of energy required in order to conserve the momentum. So this amount of phonon energy is required in order to recombination of this electrons and hole is to be takes place. So here the energy required in order to conserve the in order to liberate this photon, this energy plus this band gap energy, both energy is required in order to liberate this photon. Now on the another process, we can say the photon energy is the indirect band gap energy plus or minus the this phonon energy which is required. So here the uh, uh, third particle is or third party is required in order to conserve the momentum. This is called the indirect band gap material. So direct band and indirect band gap material is cleared, and now in silicon or germanium items in a fabrication process there is a care should be taken in order to fabricate, just like a sodium chloride or gallium arsenide, in which group of atom they are arranged in a periodic manner defined by a lattice in order to joining one group of atom to another, and a lattice spacing or a lattice constant, and these lattice spacing is represented in angstroms. So semiconductor devices are generally fabricated by starting a crystalline substrates that is provided mechanical strength to the mounting device for making a electrical contact. So a technique of crystal growth is used in growing a thin layer over the substrate. So in this case, the material lattice structure as over the structure is identical, and here uh, lattice spacing of the adjustment material are closely matched with the substrate material, and just there is a growing of layer over the substrate is called the epitaxial. It is basically generated from the Greek word epi, mean on, taxes mean arrangement. It is on arrangement. Basically, this process is used in order to making or depositing a layer when there is a fabrication process of these LED source has to be taken into the concentration. Next is LED. For photonic communication, there is a require of data around 100 to 200 megabit per second with the multimode fiber, and tens of kilo microwatt is required. LED is the sufficient choice for multimode fiber. Now LED basically they are available in two forms: surface emitting LED as well as the edge emitting LED. Now LED structure which is used for fiber transmission application have a high radiance, fast response time, and high quantum efficiency. High radiance is basically the brightness measured as in a watt or optical power radiate. Mean the source it is just look equally bright from any direction. If we have seen high output power is to be generated, and fast response emission time is that as the injection current is applied to the source, at the same time it will give a full bandwidth of output of power without any kind of disturbance. High quantum efficiency is also desired. That mean to say that the number of electron and hole which are emitted, they emit radiatively, give a radiative recombination instead of non-radiative recombination. So for that kind of arrangement, certain kind of arrangement that has to be done. Here the structure of LED is shown with the gallium aluminum arsenide double hetero structure of light emitter is used. In this we have used this is the center n-type gallium aluminum arsenide recombination region, which is the sandwich between the n-type and p-type gallium aluminum arsenide. And there are two type of confinement is to be achieved in this double heterostructure. One is there is a carrier confinement is to be done. Another there is a optical confinement has to be done. Now this is the recombination region, and these two layers, these are light guiding and carrier confinement layer, and this is the metal contact uh, improvement layer. P and N is the substrate, and outside there is a use of this metal contactor has to be used. So in this the energy band diagram showing the active region, electron and hole which are confined the charge carrier in this region. So here injection of electron and injection of hole that has to be takes place so that hole can lie above this hole barrier and electron barrier, and energy between this is 1.51 electron volt. Now in order to radiative recombination electron and hole, there is a charge that can be confined in this region. Whenever there is a uh, electron, they have to be fall from this state to this state directly. It will emit a h nu of photon of energy. So there is a detector combination or carrier that should be confined in such a way that give a output. Another is uh, uh, refractive index of the center recombination region is to be taken as higher as compared to the siding layer like here. It's center one having a highest refractive index, whereas this p-type region having a just lower refractive index region, mean to say that if we consider this is the refractive index of the outside region, these layer guiding and carrier confinement layer have a slightly higher refractive index as compared to the side one, and where this recombination is to be takes place, it's having a highest refractive index is to be chosen. The refractive index diagram that has to be represent, and here the electron energy that has to be goes on increasing, both carrier as well as optical confinement that has to be done. Now if we want to calculate the wavelength for this source, depending upon the band gap of energy of in electron volt, that we have to divide 1.240 divided by that energy, the source emission wavelength that can be calculated from here quite easily. So this dual confinement leads to both high efficiency and high radiance. Other influence device performance like optical absorption in this region, carrier recombination at heterojunction interface, and doping concentration, and injection carrier density and active layer thickness. All these has to be taken into consideration while we are designing or fabricating this. Now LED which are available is two type of LED. One is surface emitting LED, another is a edge emitting LED. Now in this surface emitting LED structure which is shown here, having a this is the active main region where this recombination is to be takes place. These two layer heterojunction layer which can confine both in optical as well as in the carrier confinement layer is to be there. Silicon dioxide isolation layer, and this is the substrate and metallization heat sink, and in the substrate there is a bus or the fiber is basically mounted at the source or fixed vertical to give a maximum amount of emission from this emitting area to this fiber, and there is a bonding material is used in order to bond this fiber in a well-etched bell of this where we can place this optical fiber. Now the circular active area in practical surface emitter is normally a 50 micrometer in diameter and 2.5 micrometer thick. The emission pattern is specifically isotropic with 120-degree half power beam width. Isotropic pattern from the surface emitting LED is called the Lambertian pattern. In this pattern, sources look equally bright when we view from any directions. Like power has to diminish by the angle cos theta, where theta is the angle of viewing direction and normal to the surface. So the power is down to 50% of peak value when theta is goes to 60. This is total half power beam width is at 120 degree is possible in this surface emitting type of LED. This is the area that has to be compatible of emitting area should be compatible with the optical fiber in order to forming a perfect matching. There is a edge emitting type of LED. Now instead of this the fiber is mounted here the edge of the fiber is to LEDs emit in the axis in horizontal way instead of vertical. In this structure, if we see, the center one is the active layer and these two layers forming a guiding layer carrier as well as a optical confinement. This is a double heterostructure layer, and this is again a silica dioxide layer. Metallization is to be done, and this is the bottom substrate metallization contact, and heat sink is to be used. Now the guiding layer has both refractive index, which is lower than that of this active region, and but this guiding layer having a high refractive index as compared to the surrounding any another layer or any another materials. Now to match typical fiber core diameter from 50 to 100, the contact step for edge emitter are 50 to 70 micrometer wide. Length of the active region is from 100 to 150 micrometer. The emission pattern of edge emitter is more directional than the surface emitting LED. In the plane parallel to the junction, there is a no waveguide effect is basically present, and the emission pattern here, the emitter beam is a Lombardian type by varying angle again cos theta with half power beam width of theta parallel 120 degree in plane perpendicular to the junction. The this theta perpendicular is vary from 25 to 35 degree by proper choice of this thickness of this uh, part, and high quantum efficiency and fast response that can be obtained from this edge emitting type of LED. Directionality of this edge emitting type of LED is better as compared to surface emitting LED. Now here is the relative output power that has to be represented in the form of this opening or half power beam width. As we have seen that for surface emitting type of LED, the emission pattern is 125 nanometer. Whereas if we see another kind of this edge emitting LED, it gave a 75 nanometer spectral width for emissions. So light source material which we have used for this uh, LED is from the material third and fifth group. These are the compound third element like aluminum, gallium or indium, and from group fifth phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. These are the material combination is used, and operation bandwidth is from 800 to 900 nanometer, and different 800 to 900 nanometer. We use a relative output around 36 nanometer. This relative output power for maximum output of these LED light source which used. There are some drawback and advantage of LED. The line width which is available in the case of LED, which is less than that of the laser, around 36 nanometer or 40 nanometer is to be obtained. Large beam width that has to be possible. Uh, low coupling fiber, low output power, low uh, electrical to optical conversion efficiency. These are the drawbacks. If we have to thinking about the advantage, robust, easy to use, directly applying the linearly input and it give accordingly the response. The mission is to become directly. High radiance output is obtained in this form. So in the next slide, we'll discuss about the mathematical modeling of LED power efficiency and another structure of LED and its characteristics that we will explain in the next lecture. Thank you.